Do you love chickens? Of course you do. Why else would you have clicked on this video? Stay tuned and we're going to do a walkthrough of the chicken coop I built a couple months ago. Alright, as mentioned, we are going to do a walkthrough of this chicken coop right behind me that I built a couple of months ago. If you're interested in the actual build video, you can watch that right here. Before we get started though, I do want to mention a couple of things. First of all, if you've been following along and you're subscribed, you probably know that I had to have surgery immediately after finishing this thing. I've not put out any videos since then because, if you can tell by my voice, it's kind of hard for me to talk. The reason it's hard for me to talk is, come to find out, I apparently have vocal cord paralysis because of that surgery. They mess up some of the nerves in my throat, which has paralyzed the muscles that interacts with my vocal cords, which is why it's kind of, I sound like poop. So anyway, I'm just telling you that, not as a sob story, but I'm just letting you know that that's kind of where I've been, and the rest of these videos, hopefully it's just temporary, but the rest of these videos are probably going to sound like this, so hopefully you can hear me okay. With that, I've been paying attention to my analytics and come to find out 98% of my viewers are actually not subscribed. So, if you like this content, if you like this video, or if you like the channel itself and have been here in the past, consider hitting that subscribe button. It's free and it takes less than a second. I gave you more than a second there to hit that subscribe button. If you did, thanks. You're awesome. If you didn't, that's okay. I still love you. Alright, with that out of the way, let's get into the walkthrough of this chicken coop. Alright, let's go ahead and start this tour in the front of the chicken coop itself. I call it the front because it's actually the first thing you see when you come through the gate to the backyard. And then you turn left and go to the patio. I bring that up because, as you'll notice as we walk around, and in this picture, the exterior technically is not finished. I bring this up simply because I know there's probably going to be a few people that say,
"You can't leave that exposed OSB."
I know that. It will be finished at a later date, and it's going to match the patio and the other structures that we have here in the backyard. If you've seen some of the other videos, you probably know what I've got going on. I'm not going to spoil it. You'll have to wait to see what I end up doing for the outside of this thing. For a chicken coop, it's definitely over the top, but I want it to look cool, and that's the most important thing. The second most important thing is the functionality. Because of my back issues, I wanted this thing to be as easy to maintain as possible, which is why I built it the way I did. So let's get into that. This is an 8x8 storage area, like I said, directly in front of the coop itself. Inside the storage area, we have the shelving and our tool area where we just use to clean out the coop. Their feed. We also have their feeders, and underneath this door is where we get access to the run, one of the accesses to the run where they spend the majority of their time. We'll get into that in a minute. To my right is the brood box that I just built. I'm not going to go into detail of that because I just did a video on it. If you're interested in seeing it, you can click this link right here and it'll take you right to it. As I mentioned, I tried to make this as easy as possible to maintain, so it makes sense to go over that first. When you open up this door, you end up getting access to the roosting bars. Now, chickens poop a lot, but they poop a lot, the most, I should say, they poop the most while they're sleeping, while they're roosting. So it just made sense to make this area as easy as possible to clean all of their droppings. Now, originally, this whole area, I just had cheap remnants of linoleum flooring down. That linoleum flooring kept the moisture from soaking into the OSB and the wood that I used to build this. That worked out great when it was still warmer temperatures, but as soon as the temperatures dropped, all the droppings froze to one another and to the floor, and I couldn't get it out. So fortunately, we had a break in weather. It warmed up a little bit, and I was able to clean it out, and I ended up putting sand in here. The sand works out really good because that allows me to use this stall rake, and I can just scoop up their droppings and then put it directly in a bucket that goes right over to the compost pile. Now, it's not that dirty right now because I did just clean it a couple of days ago. And normally I can get away with 10 chickens. I can get away with probably every 2 to 3 days. So obviously it's going to depend on how many chickens you have. But you can see how much I'm able to get just by using this thing and how quick it is. The sand obviously falls through all these slits in the tines, and then you pick up the big chunks. Now, there are some small chunks that obviously falls through those slits, and I don't do this every time just because there's not that much, but probably every 3 to 4 cleanings I would take this cheap little garden rake, leaf rake, and I'll just pull the excess droppings that fell through, and then I'll just have a cheap kitty litter scoop. And I just scoop it out, as easy as that. And like I said, there really wasn't that much in there. And this is great fertilizer, ready to go to the compost pile, which we'll end up using in the garden. So, not only do chickens give you food to eat, the food that they eat gives you poop to put in your garden, so super sustainable. I love chickens. Speaking of the food they eat, let's get into that next. Okay, so we store all of their food and snacks, treats, whatever, inside of this metal trash can. We chose metal because critters can easily chew through plastic to get to the grain or whatever you end up feeding your chickens. With metal, obviously, it's way harder. Rats, mice aren't able to chew through that. So something to keep in mind, maybe to consider. So I'm going to show you how easy we have this thing set up to feed our girls. You just gotta pop the top here and, oh, well, I just found the sponsor of today's video. Grub Terra Black Soldier Fly Larva. Friggin' love this stuff. These girls friggin' love them. It is Black Soldier Fly Larva. They have 75% more calcium than what regular mealworms do. They also have 34% protein and 32% crude fat. They are a super cool company to deal with, and they have a really neat product that's good for chickens, reptiles, whatever crazy pet you might have at your home. If you want to try Grub Terra out, you can get 10% off at checkout if you use discount code The Hidden Homestead. So thanks Grub Terra for sponsoring today's video. We appreciate you. Alright, so inside here, like I said, I got their feed. I have the little feed scoop, and I have a funnel that I have cut down so it fits inside of these 4-inch PVC. Just get a scoop of feed. I'm not going to fill these up all the way because they are already pretty full. I just filled them up yesterday actually. So I'll just top them off. I chose to use this funnel. Obviously it's big. This thing fits right inside of it. But using this thing, I was spilling quite a bit down here, which I think was just inviting critters to come in and start eating food. So that's something else you gotta keep in mind. Like, you don't want your chickens or you to make a mess with the feed because mice will definitely find it. I did have a tray that I put right here that just caught the excess, but I found that this worked a lot better. Now you could just use a smaller scoop, but why? I mean, that just takes a little longer, so I like using the big scoop. One big scoop, maybe two, and I've got these things filled up. So quick, easy, no big deal. So let's open this thing up and I'll show you how I've got this thing built. So as we open this up, you'll see that it goes into their run underneath the coop over to the other side, which we'll go to in a minute. It also goes to this way by the garden. We built it that way in the fall and in the winter, in early spring, the chickens can go into the garden and do their thing and kind of keep the garden tilled up, get any weeds out of there or whatever. So another way that it just helps with sustainability. As far as the feeders go, it's a simple design. It's just PVC, 45 here, 45 angle here, a 90 here, and this is a 22 and a half. You can make these however big you want them. It just depends on your space. I built these based on the space that I had underneath here. I've got 4 of them, and when they're all filled, I can get average of about 2 weeks of feed in just these ones, not counting the one when we go to the other side that you'll see that I got over there. So I can get about 2 weeks in here. Again, super simple design. It's nothing fancy, but they are very effective. All right, so on this side, you can see right beside their feed, they've got their water. It is hooked up to power, especially now because it is colder. So that just keeps everything from freezing, so they always have access to water. This, we can probably get one of these. We can, obviously, depending on the temperature. In the summer, we might get almost a week. In the winter, we can probably get almost a week and a half to 2 weeks out of this one water. So easy setup. All I got to do is open this door up and I can just fill it up. Same thing with the other side, and I'll show you that. Before we move on, I forgot to mention something. If you decide to use sand in here like we did, then I recommend using a coarse sand. The reason for that is because if the chickens get in here and start scratching around, that finer sand could have a lot of dust in it that might irritate their respiratory system. The coarse sand is going to have dust as well, but probably not as much as the fine sand. So keep your chickens healthier by using coarse sand. That's about it for the inside of this storage area. We're going to close this up. We'll go around to the pen, the run area, and I'll show you the egg box as we make our way around to the other side right over here. All right, we got the nesting boxes right here behind me. We were originally going to build the nesting box inside the coop itself, but we decided to save some space on the inside and bring them out. It added a little complexity to the build just to make sure it was waterproof, but I think it was worth it in the end, simply because we do have some harsh winters, and when it's really nasty out, they can have plenty of room to hang out inside and not have to worry about coming outside to, get away from one another, I guess. So this did definitely help. Pretty simple design. Just open it up with these latches. Hey girl, there's one in there right now. Open up the latches. We have 5 nesting boxes. Gives the girls plenty of room to do their thing. Now, we got eggs in there right now but something that we got just to encourage the girls when we moved them over to this coop, something to encourage the girls to lay and use these boxes, are these little cheap porcelain eggs. We got these at Hobby Lobby. I think we got we got like 6 or 7 of them for like $4 or $5. So if you're trying to get your girls to go over and nest in the boxes, if they're not doing it, just put some of these in there. All right, so we're gonna go right over here to my right, and that's gonna go inside the covered run. And that's where we get access to the other side of the main coop, and where we clean that and give them water and feed on that side. So I'll readjust you again, and we'll go from there. All right, we're underneath the covered portion of the... I'm trying to shoot a video. That's Gertie, by the way. Long story how she got her name. Kind of a weird one. But she's probably the most friendliest and lovable one that we have. Pretty cool chick. Anyway, so we are underneath the covered portion of the run. I don't know if the camera's picking it up. Yeah, a little bit. So this is underneath. So straight through that way is where we just were, where their feeder and their water is, with that little access hatch. So obviously right here is their coop door. They enter and exit. It is hooked up to a solar powered actuator, and so I got it set up so right at sun, it's about 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning it opens, and then at about 7 or 8 at night it closes up. So that's something that we don't have to worry about when we go on vacation or have to leave town for whatever else. Same thing with that food. That gives us 2 weeks of food. We have a water underneath there, and we have a water inside. So if we have someone watching the house for us, they don't even have to pay attention to the chickens really, other than just coming and getting eggs. So the feed and the water is taken care of, which is important to us because while yes, we want to homestead, we like homesteading, we also like going on vacation and visiting family. So that just alleviates the stress of having someone watch the chickens because, you know, a lot of people don't want to fool with that. Anyway, so when you open up this door, it opens up to the main coop itself. Just, you can see the edge of the roosting bars right here, and that is the door that we were just at where I clean their droppings. On this side we don't have sand, it's just regular sawdust. So this is their inside water, and we also have a feeder. They're just hanging in here. So it just makes it convenient, again, an extra water and food source, so that when it really is nasty, the wind does blow here. So when the wind blows really bad, they don't even have to come out inside the run. They can just stay in here. Now, they are protected if they are in the run because, again, it's covered, and then they have shelter underneath here. And just to this side is a retaining wall that I've built. Basically, this chicken coop has essentially been built into that retaining wall, which just protects them from wind and predators even more. So we're going to leave her alone to let her do her thing. We disturbed her when we checked the nesting boxes. She is one of the nicest ones, but she's also a little sassy too. So do your thing. I'm sorry. Please forgive us. All right, that's it, guys. Hopefully you liked this video, this walkthrough. Hopefully you got something out of it. If you have any questions about this, I don't have any plans as of now. I'm considering doing a set of plans and putting them out there. As of now, I don't have any, but if you have any questions on the specifications for this thing, feel free to either leave it in the comments below or email me, which my email is in the description below. Obviously the comments help push the algorithms, but it's whatever you're comfortable in doing. Ask me the question, whatever. I'm usually really good at replying, whichever. Yeah, responding would be right. Whatever. I'm usually pretty good at either. And I'll try to answer your question because I want you guys to be more self-sustainable. I want you to be more self-reliant. And having a chicken coop and having chickens is going to allow you to do so. So leave your comments below, ask your questions, and I will definitely get back to you. If you like this video, if you like this coop, hit that thumbs up button. If you didn't like it, hit the thumbs down button and leave a comment as to why it sucked, because whatever, I guess that's the least you can do. Consider subscribing to the channel. It's free. Just hit that little subscribe button and then the little bell icon so you get notifications on whenever I put out whatever kind of video. Let's see, I gotta thank my Patreons. I love you guys. You guys are helping out the channel tremendously. So by basically buying me a cup of coffee every month, you are doing so much for this channel, and I love you for it. So thank you to my Patreons. I believe that is it. And so until next time, take care. Peace out, guys.